Jason Dunstall and Nathan Brown often go head-to-head on a Sunday. We call it the Sunday Bait. Michael Christian and Mark Stevens are the judges. Brownie, we're going to talk punting in a moment. Before we get to punting, it is the Sunday debate, and the topic this afternoon, this is what I like about it. Jason doesn't know it yet. You give it to him and go for it.
No, we actually discussed a little bit last night in the Triple M box, but Mick Malthouse. I sat at home eagerly awaiting Mick Malthouse because everybody wants to know about Collingwood, about Nathan Buckley, where it's all going. And look, I think Mick Malthouse should be the coach of Collingwood next year. He's won a flag. He's reinvented himself and the way he plays his football. His sides play their football time and time again. I would have loved to have been coached by Mick Malthouse, but I thought on the Footy Show the other night it was more about him than it was the Collingwood Football Club. Many times he said, now it's all about my players and all about the Collingwood Football Club, but the feeling I got was, and I was amazed at the interview, it was more about him. Now, normally, I've never seen someone speak break ranks like Mick Malthouse did the other night, talk about the fact that maybe he wasn't going to be there next year. And look, you say that you go on there and maybe he goes, well, what else is he meant to say? You talk about the fact that if he says that he doesn't want to go and he's going to stay there and then he goes, people might call him a liar. But maybe the thing was just don't go on there in the first place, because I'll give you an example. If Daisy Thomas had gone on there and spoke about the Greater Western Sydney and he sat there and said, well, I don't know what's going on. I'm not really happy with the offer Collingwood's giving me, so I'm open to all these offers. I mean, he would have been ridiculed by everybody. Now, Mick Malthouse pretty much went on there and did the same thing. And like I said, I think he should be coached next year, and he's been played a pretty tough card by being taken out of the coaching ranks. But when Gary Pert, the CEO, says that he wasn't happy with it, and Eddie Maguire says he wasn't happy with it, I feel like it's more about him. And Chief, I feel like it's more about him.
That's extraordinary. So the debate topic, just so I'm clear, let's go back 90 seconds, is that Thursday night was too much about Mick and it wasn't a team play.
Yes.
Where does moving pictures come into it?
Well, I'll tell you where it comes in. It is a shameless use of sound effects to add some weight to a very thin argument that might suggest Mick Malthouse was being selfish on the Footy Show. I'm amazed how you can sit there and point the finger at Mick Malthouse over that. He was asked to go on by the Channel 9 people involved with the Footy Show. He was paid to go on, to talk about himself. He wasn't said, oh, come on and we'll just have a generic chat about Collingwood and we won't say anything. They wanted to shamelessly publicise the fact that he was going on to talk about things, and they did. They got what they paid for. People would have tuned in. He's entitled to be as honest or as cagey as he likes when he's talking about that. It was never intended to be about the team.
Well, what if it was Alistair Clarkson saying the same things?
But we're saying what ifs. It wasn't.
Ooh.
You wouldn't be happy,
you
Chief.
stuttered then, Chief.
But we don't have the same deal with Alistair Clarkson.
Well, you might have.
Clarko's in the same position, Chief. He's out of contract
sorry,
next
he's not in the same position.
Well, he's out of contract.
Malthouse isn't out of
and
contract.
There's uncertainty.
And you're not in the bloody debate. So shut your overly large swollen head, will you? The fact is, it is all about Mick Malthouse. He went on and did what he was paid to do. How can you blame him, particularly coming from a bloke that took the money to change clubs? How can you sit there
It
and
always
call
comes
him
up, doesn't it?
selfish? It is extraordinary. And
Should he have towed the line, though, for Collingwood
There was
and
no
where they're
line
at?
to toe. It was never about Collingwood. He was paid to go on and talk about that arrangement, and he did it without giving anything away. We were no clearer on what was happening after the interview as we were before the interview. So he did nothing.
It was confusing.
Absolutely. He took the dough and he stitched them up beautifully. Well done, Mick.
Well, how selfish can that be?
Oh, shut up! Massive head.
You're a judge, massive head.
He took the dough. That is selfish.
Hang on. You're
Listen.
a judge. Don't debate or rebut. You've got to give a decision.
Can you please tell Jupiter Head to stop arguing for Brownie and to pull this overly inflated dome?
Look, I love Mick
out of the
Malthouse,
argument?
but I thought that he was more about Mick Malthouse than he was a Collingwood Football Club.
But he was never asked to come in and talk about the Collingwood Football
The
Club.
debate was last week that Collingwood don't have a challenger this year. I think the biggest challenge Collingwood have is the Collingwood Football Club.
Well, that's okay, but that's not what the debate was about.
I win again.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Listen to Massive Head.
Let's go to the judges. Matthew Preston, your thoughts?
Steve-O, that's you, I think.
I think Brownie wins clearly. The fact that Chief
Because
admitted...
he played
no,
moving pictures.
I like that. It was a lot better than Shannon
Bit
Knoll.
of theatre.
But hang on, Chief. You admitted that he went on for the money, which is selfish, number one. And for you to say that he went on not to talk about Collingwood, he went on there to talk about Fitzroy Gardens and the roses and walking through the park on a sunny day. Of course he was going to be asked about Collingwood.
Mate, he wasn't asked to go in and
waters.
talk about the club or how things were going this year. He was asked to go in, paid to go in and talk about the arrangement. They wanted to interview Mick, not
Brownie,
talk about that.
Brownie wins.
You're a Channel 9 employee.
Yes.
Do Channel 9 pay all coaches to go on and talk about their football clubs?
I don't write the checks down at Channel 9, so I wouldn't be able to answer that with 100% certainty.
So why Mick Malthouse? Why is he paid and not other coaches who go along and talk about their football clubs, talk about themselves, talk about their players for the betterment of the game, the betterment of their football club? Why?
Because Mick Malthouse is coaching the biggest football club in the land, who are the reigning premiers, and he's a coach now who is on the outer with Nathan Buckley coming in. They're asking him to do a job I think that he doesn't really want to do, and I think he still wants to coach this year. So Footy Show getting him on there was very, very important, and it's all about ratings, and Mick Malthouse does get people listening and does get people watching, and it was a fascinating interview to watch for very varying reasons.
Well, it was a confusing interview to watch because I thought there were statements made on one hand and then completely rebuffed on the other. It was going around in circles.
We learned nothing.
Just give us
Who won? Chrisso?
Give us a decision, Chrisso.
Who did you vote for?
Brownie.
I'll go for the Chief.
So it's up to the public.
He's
triplemmfooty.com.au, Nathan Brown or Jason Dunstall. Can we just take a quick straw poll?
What about Hot Air Balloon Head? He is seriously kidding himself, isn't he?